Hello everyone and welcome to this podcast with myself, Bettool Jabur, and joining me today is Naual Bourramman. Hello Naual.
Hello Bettool. I'm so happy to be here and thank you for the invitation.
It's absolutely my pleasure. Today we're talking about footprints to keyboards, so I'm really excited to know your journey, Naual. I've only just met you last month, but we've clicked instantly. We started matching scarves and we've started doing all sorts of things. But I'm super excited to finally have you in the chair today and talk about your journey throughout your career. So, do you know, the funny thing is, I actually was speaking with your manager, Matthias, and I was asking him, I was like, we should do a podcast together. And he said, I have a better person for you to do a podcast with, and that is Naual. Her journey is incredible. What was we in a taxi last month?
Yeah, we were in a taxi in Poland.
And we was talking about it. That's where it all began.
Yeah,
that's where the journey began.
To the airport, I think.
Yes, we was heading our different ways, different countries.
Yes.
So you was heading back to Sweden, and I was heading back to the UK.
Yes.
So it was an incredible journey, both being in the taxi in traffic peak time while everyone's so relaxed, I thought, and trying to get to the airport, which can be stressful for some people. But at the same time, we was listening about your journey and your career path, which is just so inspirational, Naual. So today we're talking about how you went through from podiatry to dentistry to then do what you do now in tech on our team. So just tell me a bit about where the dream began, Naual.
Yeah. It started when I was little, actually. I wanted to be a doctor or a dentist. So in that way, when I finished school and wanted to apply for university, I applied for dentist or doctor, but I didn't come in to the school. So I applied for podiatry instead because I'm a nurse. I want to take care of people. That has always been my dream, like taking care of people, and
it's in your nature.
It's in my nature. Yeah, it is definitely. So that's where my journey began. I studied podiatry, and it was, the funny thing, it was new in Sweden. This professional, it was new, and I was the first with my class to begin to study this, and we were like, testing it, or I don't know what to say.
Yeah, so I suppose in the UK, when someone's trialing out something, you say, "Oh, we're the guinea pigs" or something.
Exactly.
Test it on them. We'll see how it works, if it works.
Exactly my point. Exactly. So we felt like guinea pigs, like you said.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's try it out. Maybe it will end up good. Maybe it will end up bad. I don't know, but let's try it. I was young. I was around 20, I think.
Yeah.
And then I finished it, but I couldn't find any job, or like many people in my class, they were like, no, we can't find any jobs. It's not a good thing, in Sweden, basically. But I know it's popular in England and Australia.
Yeah, very.
But we're not there. We're in Sweden. So I was thinking what to do next. I mean, okay, I'm done with this. So I can't find a job. What do I do next? Okay, I wanted to become a dentist, but let me try dental nurse. So I applied for it and came in. I was so excited about that. And the niche was to be a dental nurse surgeon. Yeah, dental nurse surgeon. Exactly. Yeah. Because I love sore. I love surgery. I love everything around it. So and I finished my school and started working. And I was, like I said, I love helping people, and it was not a normally going to a dentist. It wasn't like that. We were special because we were like a clinic that only accepted referrals from patients that had cancer in their mouth and things like that, diseases overall. So that was it. I worked as a dental nurse for about 10, 11 years, like that.
That's
and
a long time.
Yeah,
you was part of the furniture almost. You already knew about, you knew the techniques by then. It doesn't take long to kind of get into that, and you would have seen many, many cases throughout those years. So let's take a step back. So your career had kind of swung in a different direction due to the times in the country that you lived in. There was the job and the opportunity. Being part of the trial group, if you like, didn't, you've kickstarted it for a lot of other people that I'm sure are podiatrists now. But, you've kind of waved the path, but then didn't find the opportunity. So you swung into another part of your dreams, which was to go into the dental area. And again, helping real extreme cases. How did you deal with, with real extreme cases every day?
It was hard, but you are working as, you're working with yourself. And when you're working so much, you're getting to a point that, oh, this is not so bad. I can do it. I mean, you don't see the person, you just see the place where you treat. So you come over it basically.
So you've overcome those challenges. So tell us then a bit more about how your incredible journey from going into such a caring profession. How did technology play a part in what you've done?
Good question. We use a lot of technology in hospitals, and it has become more and more technical, and you need it basically. So I just one day I sat down and were like clicking around, and I was like, oh, this is not good. I mean, I saw the application, the program that we use in dentistry. I saw it in another different way, and I thought to myself that no, it can be better. This can be better. So I clicked around, and like a normal person, I didn't even know that a tester was a professional. Until my brother told me. He was like, "What are you doing at your job?" "Oh, well, I'm dental nurse, but I want to do things better with our programs that we use." And he was like, "Yeah, but why don't you become a tester?" And I was
That's how it began.
Yeah, I was like, "Does it exist? Is there any testers out there in technology companies?" He said, "Yes, definitely. So why don't you try it?" And then, on that way, I tried it. So
that's how you moved across. But let's take her a step back, though. From being able to examine patients, through the technology and examining the results of what you find within the mouth, I suppose, for with regards to dentistry. How is it that technology is a big part of that, especially the patient types that you were speaking to? How is it that you kind of learn and pick up the technology? Is that something that you pick up on the job, or is that something that you done through education before you got to the job?
Basically, I've learned it not through the job or anything like that. We just had to learn. You you got a computer and you sit here. Here's a program, and you need to learn it. That's basically how I ended up with. Nobody has learned me, and I was they told me in the company dentistry clinic where I was working. They told me that there was courses, but nobody told me that. So I just got into it and basically learned it.
Grounds of the software.
Yeah,
how to use it. That's an incredible way because, sometimes by doing such a thing, you are clicking on buttons that others haven't, played on and clicked on. When you go down a training route, you'll get to learn certain aspects of it, but it's also part of it on you to learn and pick up the rest of the program anyway. So you picked up the program. You have now gone into, the idea of that your brother has almost kind of planted the seed there, and you've got this idea of going into technology, and that's an aspect of it that you really want to make better. It's almost like you've healed the patients, but now you need to heal the technology. And how do you do that?
It was like that in somehow.
So again, it's your helpful side. That's like, well, I have technology. I need to make it better. You've got patients, you made them better. Now it's time to make the technology better for your other patients. Okay,
yes.
So what was, how do you take such a leap? Because by now you're in your late 20s, you've worked already for, how many years? How do you take that leap from going in from a secure role, from a secure job into something that you are part of the furniture in, to then say, I am going to go and study something else completely different to what I do? How do you do that?
I'm going to be honest with you because it was scary. Because I had a good manager back in the dentistry company, and my clinic. My manager, my boss was. I was afraid that I won't be able to meet or have a manager like that. But you just have to do it. If you have a dream, then just do it. Don't. Of course, you get scared, and think like in the future and say like, will I be able to manage it? And like I said, the colleagues am I going to get good colleagues, good boss? Everything around me, will it be good? But you just need to do it. You just need to focus on yourself, set up a goal and say, okay, for me, for example, okay, I'm going to be a QA. I'm going, obviously, to have a new job, new colleagues, new boss. So it naturally, you accept it naturally. And but I'm happy that I have good colleagues and I have a good boss, everything around me. I love this company. I love working with Symetri. So
and look at that smile, when you're talking about it, your face does light up in terms of the journey that you've had. And look, you're wearing the Symetri shirt as well, on brand, on colour, on theme. So whoever's not watching this and you're just listening to this podcast, actually, Naual and I are both on brand today. And, in terms of matching colours and everything like that, but which is great. It's great. It's a fun part of, it's a funny part of the podcast, or it's a fun part of the podcast that we're looking at together. In terms of going from, something that you're comfortable with a great manager that you've got, to then change completely and go into something new does take a lot of risk, both internally, for yourself and your home life, and both externally as well, because now you're learning new things, and it's almost like the first day of school all over again. Did anyone else on the course with you have a similar situation where they've totally redirected in life? Because there'd be a lot of listeners listening into this thinking, there's a real dream that I have, but I'm just not confident enough. That's taking it out another few years of education, or, I'm starting again from the base. Did you feel like, I'm starting again from the base, or did you feel kind of, I don't know, not passionate and kind of driven forward because this is something else that you want to explore?
Actually, I didn't think that I was going to start all over again. Well, a little bit, but I was thinking more like developing, like
That's the good
coming
way.
to the, yeah,
Progression. Okay.
progression. That's my thought. I was like, yeah, I'm not here at the same position. I need to go forward.
Yeah.
And everything is tech. Everything works with tech.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'm really happy that I made this decision, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I am.
Let's take it to the part where you was looking to get into the course now, to get into the technology side. Now, I believe you was 92nd in line for the job. How is it that you got there? You know, a lot of praying, a lot of, asking to get into there. How did you feel when you finally got the phone call or the message to say you?
Oh, yeah. I was on the waiting list, and I was on the number 92, and 92 is a lot. Yeah, it is.
A lot of people step away from that.
So basically, I thought my dream was like, okay, this I think is not, it's not meant to be. That's what I was thinking. Like, so I dropped it for a while, and then I got an email once in a while and saying, "Oh, your number 87 or your number 80." Lower and lower and lower. But still, it was a big number still. So I wasn't like, I didn't want to be too excited. But I had a bit of a hope. So I was just waiting for my turn. And then I think I got number 3 or something. I was in Morocco at that time. Drinking tea or coffee, I don't know. I was sitting in a cafe, and I was like, okay, let me check my email. So I checked my email, and you're number 3. And I was like, am I in or am I? Well,
that's so close at that stage.
I was so close. And I think it was 1 week left till the school was starting. So basically, I was like, and my brother, I told him, and he was like, yeah, maybe you're in. I think you're in. Just wait for, but dude, don't get too excited because you don't want to be disappointed. Yeah. And I was okay. You're right. I'm going to lay back. What will happen?
And it takes a lot for you, Naual. I mean, I've only known you for a month, but you get excited, and it's like, how do you calm that excitement down? That must have been a massive job. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was. So when it was 2 days left till school started, then I got an email and saying that you're in. I was like, am I seeing right? It was like
the congratulations.
Yeah, it was congratulations. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I was like, do I pinch me? Somebody pinch me. I was so happy. I mean, I can't even describe how happy I was. So, yeah. I mean, it was meant to be. To be a QA.
Absolutely. You know, when you look back at the journey that you've had, and to be so happy that you was that faced with was those emotions that you had, the happy emotions, was it faced with kind of not anxiety, but like, wow, this is it's going to hit you now. This is when did it actually hit you that you're now stopping what you've been comfortable with to do something new?
It's good that you mentioned it because it hit me when I was thinking like, oh, I'm going to switch job, I'm going to switch colleagues, my boss, and I got a little bit of anxiety, to be honest with you, but I overcome it. I mean, it's
natural part of nerves, isn't it? You start to use nerves, yeah.
It is. And everything that's new, you get like oh, is it good? Is it bad? You don't even know what it will end. So it's natural, like you said. But I had some anxiety telling my boss that I'm going to quit.
So at this stage now, you're almost going to start school. You still haven't told your boss. Did you have a particular 3 weeks or a week or something notice that you had to give?
Well, I told him we have 6 months to say. But I did tell him that I had applied for an education, to do it, but it's not sure that I will come in. So I don't know. I said that to him, especially when I was in the waiting list 92.
Yeah.
I told him that, and he was like, oh, he was he was happy, but he was like, oh, thank you, that it's impossible for you to, come in. That kind of impression. So, and he was, when I did come in, it was 2 or 1 day. I can't even remember, but it was so, so near the beginning, the start, from school. So I told him that I need to do this. I need to change career. And he was like, no, before he said, I said to him, I have something to tell you. And he was like, no, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear. I was like, yeah, you have to hear it. You have to hear it.
Yeah.
And he was like, no. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be here anymore. I need to quit this job to start a new path in my life. And so it was sad.
Your path was supported by your brother and your family, which is always good to have that support from internal. And then from your manager at the time, he didn't want to lose you, which just goes to show what a quality and assets you are for a company that you work with, to show that he didn't want to lose you from your line of work. How do you take that emotion and carry it forward to start, your new path? You now want to study for 2 years, I think you're called.
Yes, 2 years, yeah.
So you want to now study for 2 years. Did you feel like a kind of disappointment at that stage that, you've let someone down because you're such a helpful person? Or did you take that and kind of channel it to become positive energy for your new role that you can make someone else happy as well?
Both, I would say.
Yeah.
Both. It was kind of hard for me to quit. I felt like sadness, but at the same time, I felt happiness. But I got patients that knew me. I knew them, and you basically become a family. 10 years is not. It's not a short time. It's it's a long time, and you basically you know everyone there, and we were like a family. We were supporting each other at the work, outside the work. So it was hard, but like I said, at the same time, I was excited to do
new ventures ahead.
Exactly.
So when you had your first day at school or college, university, wherever you might want to call it in Sweden, you've had your first day of studies and you attend your first lectures. Did you think, wow, this is incredibly different? Or did you think, wow, this is really cool? I can maybe help with the way that the world's going to be run. What was going around in your mind at that stage? How did you find going into that kind of office environment after being in a medical practice?
I was used to run all the time, back and forth all the time.
Yeah.
And sitting there, I was like, what am I going to do now? I mean, just here. Okay. So it was so new for me. I was used to just running around.
Yeah.
And then just sit there. I felt like I need to do something, but I already do. I'm sitting here. I do stuff,
Yeah.
So it was, if you compare to that, like running around and sit, it is completely different. It is.
It's a different way of working, isn't it? You're going from being kind of mobile all of the time to then being able to be still influential, but from within a computer screen.
Yeah.
Coming up next on Optimize et al. So Naual, let's go through now your second stage of your studies. So now you're studying, you're now understanding a bit more about how technologies work in the background and things like that. Tell me how you managed to kind of change the way that you studied, because you had what you called a study buddy, was it?
I did have it. He was actually a friend of my brother. Yeah, and we met, and I was like, "Oh, is it you?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's me. Is it you?" I had one interview with one person, and the HR person, and then the next interview was with a lot of people. I was like, they sat in front of me, but then I remember Lars, the HR, came to my side because he was like, no, it's too many at this side, so I need to sit with you. So yeah, it was so nice of him, because I remember that during the interview I was so nervous, but they were all very kind, and they let me speak. I mean, answer the questions, and they made me comfortable, basically.
Yeah, that's what's important.
First of all, when I came to my office, it was like my name on it. I saw some flowers, and I was like, oh, and a package with stuff and my computer and everything. Like, it was so nice.
So simply, you have flowers in the packet. Oh, this is incredible. I never have flowers. Oh dear. Forgot about that bit.
Oh dear. Forget it.
First day at Symetri, I never had flowers. I'm going to take this back. Say, for anyone who's listening that would like to do that change in career, that leap, or even just reach out to their manager and say, this is my sign for my manager, for me to speak to them to develop further or to get into the next mode. Because we almost get into that static stage. I'm a believer in reviewing. Review where you're at, review what you want to do, and always look to see, is your goal still achievable, or does your goal now need to change? So we speak about getting to the goal, never change the goal, but sometimes we do have to change the goal. For example, in your circumstance where you wanted to change the goal to get into technology, to become a bit more, helpful in a different way. What would you say? What would your advice be to others who want to take that leap in life?
I would say, do it.
Don't think about it, just do it.
Yeah, if you really want to do it, don't have second thoughts. I mean, if you think too much also, you won't be able to do anything.